because today, McClatchy got hold of an urgent letter from the CDC sent to all 50 states. And the letter orders states to prepare to open vaccine distribution facilities by November 1st, 2 days before Election Day. And according to a letter from the CDC director, to basically get it done by any means necessary. Quote, consider waiving requirements that would prevent these facilities from becoming fully operational by November 1, 2020. Well, there's a pretty big problem with that order, and to tell us all about it, Laurie Garrett, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, columnist for Foreign Policy magazine, and author of the book The Coming Plague. Laurie, I was astonished by that news today, and I'm curious, as someone who's been really reporting deeply on this, what your reaction was to it.
Well, I mean, on one level, none of us are surprised. We've all been talking about, will there be an October surprise? And there certainly have been steps taken to try and push the FDA to approve and approve. And about a month ago, it was announced that on October 22nd, the special advisory panel at the FDA that would decide whether or not to greenlight a vaccine would be convening. So the timing was already kind of sitting out there. But this letter goes a whole other step. I mean, my jaw was on the floor when I saw it. I can't remember ever seeing anything like it for any outbreak in any vaccine in the United States before. It's basically telling governors all over the states and territories that you got to be ready for this private company, McKesson, to come in and run a giant operation of vaccination. We don't have a vaccine. We don't have one. They're all still in various stages of clinical trials. None have completed phase 3, the final clinical trials that tell you whether it works and whether it's safe or not. You need to have at least 30,000 people in each of these clinical trials. Half of them get a placebo, half of them get a vaccine. You ideally want them to live someplace where a vaccine is rapidly spreading, the prevalence is high, so that in a short amount of time, maybe 2 weeks, you can see whether or not one arm, either the placebo arm or the vaccine arm, has significantly more or less infection. And you want to be sure that you follow them long enough to know if it's safe. Well, my goodness, we only have 59 days between now and November 1. That's, I mean, they'd have to be working round the clock, have absolutely nothing go wrong, have every single volunteer show up for every single appointment, and zoom through this at a speed unlike anything we've ever seen in the history of pharmaceuticals.
You know, my read of the folks that I've talked to and been following on this say, look, the most bullish idea is that we have made a lot of progress on the vaccine. We've got a bunch of people forging ahead. There is a lot of promising reasons to be hopeful on that front. But the most rapid possible timeline would basically be to have something we feel confident is safe and secure by the end of this year, maybe late November or December, and then administering it in January. That's like the absolute front edge. Does that square with the timeline that you have heard?
Yeah, that's been basically the timeline Dr. Anthony Fauci has espoused. And that would be, again, if everything went right. No, you know, and a vaccine was a clear home run. You could see without having to parse the data and do a lot of statistical machinations, you could clearly see, yes, this protected people in all the various age groups. But keep in mind, you know, in 2009, the last time we really rushed to get a vaccine out the door fast because of swine flu, H1N1 swine flu, we didn't see in the pell-mell rush that some people, in the end, 62 people, were getting paralyzed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, a side effect sometimes from vaccines that are not appropriately manufactured. And the result was that we couldn't see it because it's an incidence of 1 out of 10 million. Well, there's no way in the next 59 days you're going to have any test methodology that could spot a safety hazard that's in 1 out of a million, much less 1 out of 10 million vaccine recipients. So the safety side to me looks insane. I can't even imagine it. By the way, Chris, 2 of the front runners are vaccines that have to be kept in dry ice at negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit at all times. So we don't have a logistic, chain of that level of coldness for vaccine distribution in the United States. We'd have to concoct this somehow in the next 59 days for all states and territories.
Well, and then this relates, this sort of worries about safety relates to this bigger picture. You already have an enormous anti-vaccine movement in this country. We've seen declining levels of vaccination more broadly. Now you've got genuine fears about this vaccine. You have a recent Gallup poll, 1 in 3 Americans would not get it. Most Americans say that the COVID vaccine approval process is being driven by politics, not science. And that's majorities of both Democrats and Republicans. So now you've got this thing that maybe we do get the silver bullet. But if you poison the well of institutional trust in the CDC and in the science, you do damage to vaccination rates for this, for actual achieving group population immunity for COVID, and for vaccines in general.
Oh, absolutely. And every single person in the field is saying this. Please, please, please don't run the risk that we will indeed have some kind of a side effect, even if it's something benign, an aching arm. Everybody gets an aching arm after a flu shot. Well, in this political atmosphere, that could be enough to poison the well, much less something really, truly dangerous. And of course, efficacy. Yeah. Most of the people that it's being tried on are healthy young adults. That doesn't tell you anything about the people who are at highest risk for COVID, people with diabetes, people severely obese, people that are over 65 years of age, people that are undernourished with proper nutrition. Go down the list. These are not generally being included in most of these pell-mell rush clinical trials. So, what's going to happen when you actually go out and target your vaccinations at precisely the people that you know to be at highest risk? Will it work?
Right.